Hi everyone, it's Jolly here with Crackedgaming. Today I'm bringing you my Yordles Veigar guide for set 6, patch 11.22. So Yordles are really fun to use. They're more like a troll comp, but you could definitely climb all the way to gold using this comp. Past gold, it does become a bit harder to use this comp just because people use different champions that you need in order to get their kind of composition going. But Yordles, like I said, they could get you all the way to gold. So if you're looking for something easy to use, something to help you climb, I definitely recommend Yordles. Like definitely you want your Vex as your tank. You want most of your items on Tristana. She's definitely really good, does a lot of damage. So the way this team comp works, once you get to level 7, level 8, you instantly win if you have at least a 2-star Veigar. However, if you are managed to get these items on Veigar, that's great. But what I find myself also kind of dealing with is that sometimes I prefer to have the items that I have on Veigar and place them on Heimerdinger, just because it's easier to have Heimerdinger carry your team or early game, and then by then you don't really have like items to give to Veigar. Especially the higher you get to gold or platinum, you definitely want to give the items more to Veigar to help you get to the late game. Because what you want to do with this team comp, you want to get to level 7, you want to get to level 8. If you manage to get your Yordles all the way to level 7, level 8, and they're all 3-star, then you're most likely going to win the game. Every time I've done that, I have won. Right? So the way that it works is that level 4, level 5, you want to focus on getting Zigs and Poppies. Focus on them. You could reroll level 5, try to get as many Zigs, as many Poppy as possible. Get them to level or to 3 stars. Right after that, at level 6, you're gonna also reroll again. You want to level up your Tristanas and your Lulus as much as you can, so that you're able to get them to level 3. Because like the way the Yordles work is like the lower you are in levels, like reroll comps, right? You want to focus on obtaining certain comps early on or certain champions early on. So levels, anything before level 5, get Poppies, 6. If you happen to find some of these other Yordles, then go ahead and like get them too. But your main focus before level 6 are to get your Ziggs and your Poppy to 3 stars. Once you get to level 6, you want to reroll and you want to focus on Lulus and Tristanas and get them to level or to 3-star, right? You want to 3-star them as well. So by then, by level 6 or by level 7, you should have a decent amount of 3-star champs. Zig should be 3-star, Poppy should be 3-star, Lulu and Tristana should be 3-star. If you do not, it's okay. Get to level 7 and then reroll at level 7 again. You want to focus now on Heimerdinger and Vex. Like, of course, like throughout the levels, if you manage to get any of these to 2-star, then go ahead and use them. I definitely like starting with either Ziggs, Poppy, Tristana, level 4, and then sometimes actually Darius with, like early game. Darius, here, I'll show you my board. I'm going to move some of these champions away. So, to just focus on the like level 4. When you get to level 4, I like having this kind of format. Sometimes I give the Darius the blue buff because level 4, if you have this team comp here, you should be good. You have 2 bodyguards, right? Darius does a lot of damage, does a lot of healing, so you're able to stay on top without losing too much health, right? Give Tristana, you could give her 1 item. You don't need all 3 items. Just give her 1 item. But this should definitely get you a couple wins early in the early game. And what you want to do in the early game is you want to make sure that you have 1 tank or 2 tanks further away from your carries. That way, when the team comes fight, they'll fight your Darius, they'll fight your Poppy, while your Ziggs and your Tristana do free damage. And that's kind of like how you want to start your early game. Eventually, you definitely want to sell your Darius. You want to put in a Heimerdinger, sell Darius, right? Because we don't really need Darius later on in the game. but we would definitely want to focus Poppy. You want to focus Vex. Like I said, you want to spread them out so that you're able to do damage. As long as they have like some distance, then you're okay. Eventually, you want to get to the point where you have your 6 Yordles. And what that looks like is this. This is kind of like the formation you have, and you have Vex out here. That way, when your team fights the other teams, the other teams are gonna focus on Vex. They're gonna focus on Poppy, while your Heimerdinger, your Tristana, your Ziggs, they do a lot of damage to them. Level 7, I definitely want you to put Janna in there. Janna does so much for the team. Like if you, without Janna, you don't really have like all these traits. So I'll show you with the traits. So with the traits here, like say you don't have Janna in there, you just have all of these. Say you don't have Veigar in there either, right? You have 2 traits going. You have Arsonist and Yordles. And this is without all 6 of them too. So this is once you get all 6 of them onto board. After that, you want to get Janna in there. The reason you do that is for health, and she also gives you all of these other traits. She gives you Enchanter, she gives you Scholar, she gives you Scrap. So then it just brings a lot more to your team comp, a lot more like healing, a lot more shields, gives you mana. It just provides a lot of magic resist and healing to your teams, right? And that's really good for this team comp. Eventually, you definitely want to get to your Veigar, right? Because your Veigar is the way you're going to carry the game. Like I said, um, if you're losing early game and you're low in HP, definitely put your items on Heimerdinger. But if you find yourself ahead, save the items, give them all to Veigar, because Veigar is just gonna do a lot of damage. Veigar is very broken. If you're able to get to that point with this team, then you're gonna be successful. You're gonna do a lot. So these are the items that I usually use on some of these champs. Right, you have Vex, you have the Wormhogs, you have the Bramble, you have the Dragon Claw, right? Veigar, Guardian Angel, your Gauntlet, and you have your Hextech Gunblade. For Tristana, you have Bloodthirster, you have Giant Slayer, you have Ginzo's Rageblade. Right, so these are all good items. I do find myself sometimes using these other items, so I'll show you those. I know sometimes, because sometimes you can't really get all of these items, right? Sometimes they're contested and you don't really end up having them. Sometimes you have to build other items. So you could put something like a locket onto Vex. You could put something like a chalice onto her. If you can't find the locket or you can only build this, that's fine too. As long as you have health, you have some form of magic resist and some form of armor, that's going to be great. Like ideally you'll get Bramble and you'll get a Dragon's Claw. Those are like some of the best items right now, but if you don't get it, that's totally fine. Same thing with Tristana and some of these other items. Something I also like to do that I find really helpful, especially when there's teams like Lux's. I like to give Rune-Ons to Heimerdinger and to Tristana, just because of the fact that it's just gonna attack multiple people. If you look at Rune-Ons, it just attacks nearby enemies as well. So that's why having 2 of these is great. There's sometimes where I have a troll team and like I somehow end up getting 3 Rune-Ons, which is kind of funny and kind of broken at the same time. But the cost of that is like not having any items for Veigar. Alright, so it'll look something like that. And then you would definitely have to have this on Heimerdinger. And that's kind of like somehow like how my team comp sometimes looks. Just make sure you, like if you ever need to divide the item and you can't get them all to Veigar because you need the health, definitely focus Tristana and Heimerdinger. Those are going to be your 2 damage sources. But this is kind of like the way you want to place things. Like definitely if the opponent has like other team comps that are tanky, there's like a Zion that benefits from grouping your team, you want to split them. So I kind of do stuff like this, or I have Vex, split these 2. I want to split my damage. and I want to make sure that my Veigar is safe. So I kind of do something like this. So that way, when they attack, they focus Vex first, then they have to focus this line, and then your Ziggs, and then your back line. Like, this score works a lot with like front line comms, so this is great. Helps your team out. You're able to last longer. If there's assassins, then you definitely want to group them more, right? Because you don't want your assassins to. You don't want the assassins to come and just kill your team, right? So you definitely want them more grouped. So that looks something like this, right? Vex is always the front line, then Poppy, second tankiest, then these three, and then finally your back line. But yeah, that's kind of like most of like how you play the Yordles. So just remember, before level 5, reroll, get Ziggs, Poppy. Level 6 reroll, get Tristana and Lulu. Level 7 reroll, focus Heimerdinger and Vex. Try to get all your champs to 3-star. Once you get all your team to 3-star, then the Veigar starts coming out every turn. And that's how you kind of get the Yordle Lord. You need to have all of these 3-star. Not the Janna, just all the Yordles. Once they're all 3-star, then Veigar shows up. And then when he shows up, it's game over. Like, if you get him to 2-star and you have the all items, he does so much damage. It's pretty insane. So this is kind of like my Yordle guide. Hopefully you find this helpful. If you would like to see more guides on different comms, just let us know. Put it in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.